Hello everyone, my name is John Michael Bushman and welcome back to Hearthstone. I was gonna post another video today with another deck, but this takes a lot more precedent as this deck you see before you has been taking the Wild Ladder by storm, and it's what happens when you give a gun to a mage. Imbue Mage is the newest hotness in the Wild Ladder right now, ever since Into the Emerald Dream came out, and people are still iterating on it. Don't get me wrong. This is not the end-all be-all build, but it does share a lot of the core cards, and there are a few differences here and there, and there are even some discussions on certain cards, but I will get to them when we get to them. So, main game plan of the deck. Shoot your opponent down with the imbue mechanic that is given to mage here, and we will get to it with let's see, one of these cards. Here we go. We'll get Bitterbloom Knight here to show us an example. So imbuing your class is only available to a certain number of classes. So we have one for druid, we have one for priest, we have one for shaman, we have one for hunter, then mage, and then paladin. So these classes are the only classes that have access to the imbue mechanic, and for mage in particular, it's Blessing of the Wisp, where you summon one wisp and then you deal one damage split among all enemies. This does not seem like much at first, but if you've been playing standard and wild for the past 2 weeks since Emerald Dream came out, this you would know that this gets out of control pretty goddamn quickly, especially with one card that we will get to in a bit. But to go over the card by card, Seabreeze Chalice is in the deck mainly as cheap removal. I have tried a build where it didn't have Seabreeze Chalice and would just consistently try to get to its creatures as much as possible, because in spite being a mage deck, this deck in particular is surprisingly creature centric because it relies on a lot of its stuff with creatures, and then you finish them off with your hero power. And yeah, it was apparently, and again, I only just started around October of 2024, so I do not have a lot of nostalgia for what happened during the earlier days of Hearthstone. So way back when, Hero Power Mage was apparently a deck, and this is quite literally a reincarnation of that deck, and they just have a lot better toys than what they started with. So going back to Seabreeze Chalice, you basically have 12, no, not 12, 6 copies rather, of the spell, because you have 3 chalices and then across the 2 copies. So you have 6 of this, and then if you have Holo Technician out, it's basically it's a potential board clear if the stars align right. It's an insane card, and this is already in its nerfed state, by the way. This used to also hit face. Having it hit minions is definitely a huge minus, because I believe Druid was the one that abused this the most, surprisingly, simply because of Mista Vista and him having access to all of the Mage, Perils, and Paradise cards. So there is that. Wait, what's the flavor text? If your luck has been particularly poor lately, try the extra shell. Try the extra salted rim. Why did I say shielded? Oh my god. Yeah, that's it. It's a good ass piece of removal, and you're gonna want something in your one drop slot because you don't exactly have a lot. But the one card that definitely starts this entire chain going is definitely Wildfire. A lot of mage decks have been rocking this ever since Into the Emerald Dream came out. You cannot leave home without it, because it's that one point of damage, that one extra point of damage, it just makes the difference in this current format where aggro is all over the place, and we needed something to check aggro, and mage has been the deck that can indeed do that. Although, of course, if aggro sets up their board right, they can still get under you, of course, as with variants in all card games. But it does feel nice to be able to gun down a paladin or priest player whenever they try to get their aggro thing going on. And of note, I did have a game against a Demon Seed Warlock, not Demon Seed Priest. No, that would be way too broken. Against Demon Seed Warlock, and they got me down to about like 10 health, and I was just basically playing defensively all throughout. Although I have been gaining my imbue triggers the whole time, and it was already up to 7, but I couldn't find my finishers. And the moment I drew into them, and granted, they were at 40 health. Of course, they were running the XL variant, and they had 5 armor on top of it. So from 45 health, I played down my 2 finishers, and my opponent died. Just like that, they did not stand a modicum of a chance. And good God, it was due to the help of this card and the two other cards that go along with it. The other thing that most of these Ibu Mage builds in Wild tend to differ on is the secret package. Ancient Mysteries here basically gives you a discount on any and all secrets that you could potentially have in this deck. Some builds have objection, some builds have counterspell, some builds have both. But the one common denominator among all of them is, of course, Ice Block. And this, people have been calling for this card to be nerfed for the longest time because it allows Mage to survive in situations where it otherwise should not have been able to. But it's here. It's a core part of Mage's identity here in Wild, and if it weren't for this card, honestly, Imbue Mage wouldn't even exist. So there is that. And we definitely need this in a meta like we are in right now. Because in one mirror match that I had, I cracked my opponent's Ice Block first. Then they cracked mine back. But since I had next turn priority, I was able to kill them in the crackback because they weren't able to set up their own ice block. And rewind, we'll get to that. Good God. But yeah, Ancient Mysteries, it just gets your ice block down to 0. If you don't get it to 0, then that's what the rewind is for. But we'll get to that when we get there. Then the first of the Imbue cards. This is a staple across any and all Imbue deck. Bitterbloom Knight. This literally just gets your train rolling. It's also a decently statted minion. 2 mana, 2/3, good for the stats and all that. Never leave home without it, especially if you're one of these Imbue classes. Then, of course, one of the exclusive cards for this deck, because they create a lot of wisps, you have Divination. This is also a Magic the Gathering card of the same name, where for 3 mana, you draw 2 cards, but here in Hearthstone, it's called Arcane Intellect instead. But here, in Hearthstone, the name Divination, you sacrifice a Wisp to draw 3 cards instead, and this is an insane amount of value for 2 mana. But you'd have to sacrifice a Wisp. And this deck creates a lot of those anyway, so they are all extremely disposable bodies. And drawing 3 cards to refuel yourself is insane in this deck. And stop, it's already dead. Which one? The Wisps? Those things keep coming back anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. What's Wildfire's flavor text? I want to read that thing. The Barrens were a lush jungle, and then this happened. Well, yeah, that's definitely one way to word it. Then Ancient Mysteries, what does it say? I'm not saying it was aliens, but it was totally aliens. Oh my god. I should really make a video on me just reading flavor text of the cards that I have in my collection, because, good god, I will not be able to read the flavor text of all 5,000 plus cards that are in this game right now. I'll probably do it in chunks, but good god. Again, most of them are dad jokes, a lot of them are puns, but I am gonna sneeze, so give me 1 second. Okay, I'm back, and we're now gonna move along to Rewind, where you discover a copy of another spell you've cast this game. Do note that if you have been casting the Seabreeze Chalices, there is actually a chance that you will discover all 3 copies of Seabreeze Chalice, or if you discover the one that still has 3 charges in it, then it's like having 9 to 12 copies of Seabreeze Chalice. So there is that. But more often than not, you're using Rewind to recycle your ice blocks, and this is a staple as well in the much hated Hostage Mage deck, where it just replays ice block multiple times. If you don't find the right spell you want, just cast it one more time and see if you get lucky. I have had an instance where I cast Rewind into another Rewind, and the other spells that went along with the first Rewind were not as good either, so I just cast Rewind again, and I did get it. But 4 mana to recycle a spell definitely feels bad. Just hope and pray that you get to do. And this is why I prefer this specific build, where there are as little spells as possible, so that I won't have too many things that will block me from getting Ice Block. That's a sentence, definitely. And then moving along to, well, a card that I did not actually think was in one of the older sets that just rotated out, but it's apparently a Whizbang Workshop card. No, it was not part of Titans. Or even Festival of Legends, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, because it's musical themed. But here you are. Sing Along Buddy, your hero power triggers twice. This has an extremely weird interaction with Reckless Apprentice, where it fires your hero power at all enemies. So I'm assuming that because Reckless Apprentice fires at all enemies, Sing Along Buddy also gets on top of that, so that causes Reckless Apprentice to trigger twice. I'm gonna have to ask the Wild Hearthstone subreddit to know exactly how these two interact because I literally do not get it. I am way too young in this game to know exactly how these two cards interact. But Sing Along Buddy has been a staple in Imbue Mage here in Wild, and of course there have been builds, at least early on, where they would have ways to search Sing Along Buddy. There was this 1 mana mech that dredges, and then if you dredge a mech, you just draw it, not add it to your hand. No, 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 you draw it, so that will trigger stuff that draws cards and whatnot. So that would potentially throw you off tempo if your opponent has such an effective foot, but that's a Disneyland thing. But going back to Sing Along Buddy before I went on that side tangent, has been in Imbue Mage and has actually been supporting other decks that need their hero power to trigger multiple times. So yeah, absolute necessity here in Imbue Mage in particular. And do not play this unless you have good reason to do so, because once this is on the field, your opponent is going to try everything in their power to kill this thing because they know that a kill is coming very soon. Then moving right along to Wisp Gatherer. Yeah, I have watched that raunchy animation, and the way he said wisp, it has been stuck in my head ever since. And he has such a derpy face. I don't know why. It's probably the way his proportions are just drawn, but he looks so derpy here. And it also doesn't help that in the raunchy animation, they made the Wisp Gatherer. Yes, I'm calling him Wisp Gatherer, even though the card name is Spirit Gatherer. It was drawn so derpily there, and the way he said wisp has been stuck in my head ever since. It's HWISP. And yeah, right here they call him the Wisp Whisperer. Wisp, 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 wisp. Oh my god. And oh god, I have such a bad case of the allergies right now. Good god. But I think I can push through with this. So it even gives you a free body to go along with it. So that is definitely something. This can be you if you have 4 mana. You play Spirit Gatherer, you play the Wisp, and then you use Divination. It's just like refueling your hand, which is insane value for this card. And it's an epic, so it's not exactly cheap, but it is an absolute necessity. And there is one conversation that has been going around the Hearthstone subreddit, both in the standard one and the wild one, where the one thing that a lot of these Imbue decks lack is an Imbue card at 3 mana. There hasn't been one, which is surprising. There are a lot at 2 and 4, but there aren't many at 3, which is, again, really surprising. So they're all hoping that in the mini set that will eventually come out, there will be a 3-drop Imbue card somewhere in there, and hopefully at neutral, so that everyone can play it, and we will start complaining then. Then up next we have Burn Down. I have looked at other card draw option. There was a cheap one where for 2 mana both players draw 2 cards. It's, I believe, called Biology Project or Science Project. It's a project of some kind, but Burn Down definitely is the best of the bunch of the draw spells that are currently available. And it's also surprisingly recent. Trust me, the next 3 cards in my deck are fire. Yeah, they're gonna go away. Good god. Drawing 3 cards for 3 mana is insane. An insane rate. And you don't really care that they get burned away. Because the curve of this deck is low enough that you'll end up playing all of the cards before they burn away anyway. Or the other card or 2 that you don't get to cast, they won't exactly be necessary once you've drawn them with Burn Down. And you do have a healthy number of turns to play them anyway before they are indeed burned and disposed of. But otherwise, yeah, it's a really damn good draw spell. Definitely never leave home without this one. Then, of course, Holotechnician. This is the card that is extremely contentious right now. Some people have cut it completely in place of the secrets, but a lot of people still believe in it because the quote-unquote high roll of Holotechnician plus your hero power, it's basically a board wipe. And this is why there aren't any board wipes in this deck at all. And there was a build where I had Frost Nova because I thought it would be a good response to the aggro matchup, but Holotechnician just does what Frost Nova does, and it does it in a more permanent fashion. So ironically, opening the spotlight comes with very little recognition. Yeah, very little recognition indeed, especially if you're going to kill your targets with just 1 hit. So there is that. And do note that any minion will take 1 damage and just die to the Holotechnician immediately. This also includes himself, and I have had an opponent concede out of shame because they didn't attack the Holotechnician and instead attacked one of the Wisps. And they forgot that Holotechnician was worded the way he is. So, yeah, this is definitely a removal magnet, and your opponent would rather kill this over the other stuff that you have on board. Of course, Ice Block. I mean, what more can I say? One of the most hated secrets in the game. Yeah. It gives you the turn to survive and hopefully kill your opponent. Let's move right along. Up next, we have ETC. A lot of builds don't really have this guy, but, well, I am part of that camp where ETC is an impressive piece of tech against any and all meta because it allows you to put 3 cards into your deck where you otherwise don't have any more space. He's basically a cheat code for a lot of decks, and it allows you to, well, quite literally sideboard in this format. And for this ETC in particular, given how the format has shaped out, Smothering Starfish is still a necessity because Paladin is still like one of the best decks out there. Although if they did play the Nerubian Spider, that makes your Battlecry minions cost 2 more, but normally that isn't exactly too much of a problem, as of course they have like Crusader Aura up and about, so there is that. But more often than not, this kills Libram Paladin like dead in their tracks, giving you enough time to wipe their board down. Then Tight Lip Witness, this is the anti-mage tech. I used to have the Dream Eater here, but this is just way better because apparently this doesn't get objection to trigger because the moment it comes down, it automatically shuts off all secrets. So there is this is just a better version of the Dream Eater. Then Plate Breaker for specific matchups. I would prefer to have a board wipe in here instead, but the Ceases Expanse being bumped up to 125 mana is a little too slow. The other thing that you could consider in here is Bob, so that you have a lot more variety in terms of your options in this deck, and you could also use Bob to potentially draw any of your imbue creatures and have additional copies of it. And Bob is also a freeze, a board-wide freeze at that, but I think Plate Breaker would be the better option among the bunch, simply because apparently Armor Warrior is making the rise ever since a lot of cards that were in the deck previously got reverted when they were brought into the wild format. And yeah, that's it for ETC. Then of course Fluttering Guardian, the second to the last imbue card that we have in here, and has one of the most annoying voices that you could have for a card. And I actually do not know what the flavor text is referencing to, but this is apart from having a very annoying voice, it's also an extremely annoying blocker. A 4-mana 4/4 with Taunt and Divine Shield, so you basically need to hit this twice in order to kill it. It provides you enough time to survive until you get to your kill turn, so definitely never leave home without it. Nightmare Lord Xavius is something that most builds don't really have, but again, since this deck rather is extremely creature centric anyway, I think having Xavius here is nice, and I technically got him for free because I paid for the rewards track. From the stories that I hear, if you're going to spend on this game, I think I've already said this before, spend it on the rewards track. You get a lot of really good cards out of it, and this is one of them. 4-mana 4/4 to discover literally any minion in your deck, so this is going to help a lot of the creature-centric decks. And you give it Dark Gift even, and there are a lot of Dark Gifts in here, but the one that I think would really be good in here is the one that triggers a Battle Cry twice. That would definitely help a lot of your imbue stuff in here. Or you could give the sing-along buddy the Dark Gift of summoning a copy of itself. Yeah, it's this one, Living Nightmare, so that you can trigger it even more times. Or you could, give the double Battle Cries thing to the Reckless Apprentice, which we're gonna move to now. And this is the finisher of the deck, where you fire your hero power at all your enemies. Now, there are ways to counter this. Don't get me wrong, there are indeed ways to counter this. Your opponent simply must not play any creatures. From the interactions that I've seen, the more creatures your opponent has on board, the more likely it is that the hero power in particular, once it has been imbued, will hit their face. And once that happens, they're gonna be deader than Elvis. Again, similar like what I've said with the Demon Seed Warlock matchup, my opponent only had a couple of minions on board, around 6. and Reckless Apprentice literally nuked the whole board and killed my opponent along with it. Of course, in tandem with Sing-Along Buddy, it triggers twice, so Reckless Apprentice triggers twice. Again, I will have to ask exactly how that interaction works because I really do not get it at all because it's coming from the Reckless Apprentice and not from you activating your hero power. So there's that. But do not play this willy-nilly because this will literally just die the moment it is on board left unchecked. It's all a great learning experience until someone accidentally aggroes the boss. Oh, yeah, definitely. So this guy has probably been through the ringer. Good God. And it's also for Fortune the Barons, which is also a decently powerful set. Then, of course, the final view card, Wisp Rider. I surf dead people. How? Ew. But yeah, it imbues your hero power and then triggers it. What was I gonna say? It imbues your trigger power then heroes it. Oh, great. Oh my god. Some builds don't even have this. And a lot of more often than not, they just stop here at 4 mana. They have something else in the Wisp Rider slot instead. Even more secrets if you want to be even more defensive than that. But for me, I want to be a little more aggressive with my decks. If you guys couldn't already tell. And this also helps with your imbuing capabilities and gives you enough of a critical mass in order to deal enough damage in order to kill your opponent. And the magic number for this deck, by the way, is 5. Once you have imbued 5 times, it is usually more than enough to kill your opponent. And yeah, that is it for the entire Imbue Mage deck here on the Wild format. And in Standard, this deck isn't exactly doing so hot. There are a couple of other classes that does better with the Emerald Dream cards more than Mage. And well, there have been nerfs recently for Standard, well, twice actually, that hopefully brought the StarCraft cards down a peg or two, and it did, and now everyone is playing aggro. I will at least let Standard settle down for a while before I actually make a video on it, because I have been planning to make a video on me playing Standard ever since Emerald Dream came out, but it's going to have to be put on the back burner for a bit while the format settles down. So, without further ado, let's go pew-pew in the rank ladder.
AFK versus Thrall.
Up against Shaman, so there are only a couple of decks that Shaman uses right now, and both of them are combo decks. Unfortunately, this is one of those hands where you mulligan the whole thing. You would always rather mulligan into your cheaper imbue cards or a draw spell or two. Well, we got one of them, and we do have a way to survive whatever combo my opponent could potentially have, but we're gonna see. So we definitely coin out the Spirit Gatherer and get the imbue train going. Then on turn 2, we'll use Ancient Mysteries to fetch out one of the ice blocks that are in the deck. And yeah, we're gonna see what my opponent is going to be up to very, very shortly. And I'll use that to thunder away that one specific tile in particular. I don't know why. Then we get the coin here, then we put in the Wishing Well, and then it does a little jiggy. There we go. Then we hit on the bulletin board a couple of times. Ooh, another Spirit Gatherer, but I think I'd rather Ancient Mysteries first, just in preparation for future. There we go. We're not gonna play it out yet because it might be a little too early, and they could potentially have a way to quote-unquote negate my secret here. So, okay, Scalding Geyser is indication that it's not the big Shaman deck. It could potentially be the Murmur combo deck instead, or as I prefer to call it, Machine Gun Astamore. Because it abuses Murmur and creates a lot of mana that will potentially deal a lot of damage. Well, there's one of our win cons, but we definitely need more. We need the Reckless Apprentice as well, and we need to bump the Blessing of the Wisp up to 5. And once that happens, we can kill our opponent from there. And I believe I've already done everything that I need to do here, so there's that. Okay, cool. Opponent is reducing their own life total for my benefit, so that is nice. Okay, killing the creature with enough attack to get rid of their totem, so that's fine. But the totems aren't exactly too much of a problem anyway, so we'll be fine for now. At least reduce it to 1, you know, just as a statement. Then we'll play the Flutterwing Guardian, which will imbue us up to 3, I believe. Okay, there we go. So now we need 2 more instances of Imbue, and then we will be off to the races here. Okay, it's Muck Morpher. Alright, so it's that version of Big Shaman. Okay, because I have seen a build of Big Shaman that doesn't have Muck Morpher at all. I don't know how. I think it uses Eureka instead rather than the Muck Morpher. So that it cheats them into play from hand instead. But I think that's a little more vulnerable compared to what we're going to be used to. Okay, sure. So once this dies, it will come back. That is fine. Wildfire is nice, but I'm not sure if it'll be enough. I mean, we can kill this, but alright, I mean, we should kill it so that we see what monstrosity. Oh god, we have to do monstrosities. Oh god. Well, I guess now is a good time as any to play that ice block down. Or, well, the thing about Shaman is they don't exactly have a lot of silence effects. It's just scam. So I think we just play ETC here. There we go. Play ETC. Then we get the Smothering Starfish. Then, just in case, we're going to play the 0-mana Ice Block that we have, and hopefully survive until next turn. Because Walking Mountain is 16 damage, because it has Mega Wind Fury, so it attacks 4 times. And yeah, good thing I played it the way I did. There we go. So there's that. Yeah, sure. So this attacks for a lot, and he will restore back to full health. Sure, that is fine. Sure, keep attacking, opponent. You should proc my Ice Block. Thank you. There we go. Alright, cool. I will survive long enough, hopefully, to get to where I need to be. My Blessing of the Wisp isn't exactly at lethal yet, so I think we are not in the clear as of yet. Well, we aren't well, we're dead. Oh my god, I didn't get another ice block to protect me from damage, because even if I do silence this, it's still like 6, 12, yeah, more than enough, good god. We could play the Wisp Rider to hopefully try and mitigate some of the damage, but yeah, we definitely lost this one. Let's move on to the next game.
AFK versus Malfurion.
Up against Druid, and I'm reminded of one of the decks that I faced off in the Wild Ladder during the first 24 hours of Emerald Dream becoming live, and it was Highlander Nature Druid. You heard that right. Somebody tried out Highlander Nature Druid with the new Hamul in the deck, and all they had were nature spells, but of course the win con just had to be Reno. Just had to be Reno, and he just used a lot of nature spells in the deck, and accrued value over time, and well, eventually killed me. And it wasn't even an XL variant, no, it was a normal 30-card deck, and it somehow killed me. Oh well, sometimes that is the nature of the game, so there's that. And I'm not quite sure what my opponent's got on yet, because they didn't do anything. I mean, they just revealed Renathal, they didn't do anything on turn 1, so that's already automatically scary. So we'll just play out the Bitterbloom Knight and swing in for 2 potentially next turn. But if my opponent kills this, then no skin off my back, because they already did their job. So there's that. We do have another Wildfire, but I think I need to play out a Wisp first before I use Divination here, so that I can draw cards. Opponent hasn't done anything too significant yet. So I am a little concerned that they could be up to no good here. So definitely a good draw off the top. Then we play a Wisp, and we attack with the I keep saying Bitterthorn Knight, but it's Bitterbloom. So there's that. So we have a decent amount of power on board, and okay, Rising Waves is definitely a way to deal with my stuff. And, okay. Bitterbloom Knight again. I think I'd rather summon a Wisp and then draw 3 cards, because we are a little low on resources here. There we go. Then we destroy one of these, draw 3. Okay, that's a way to, well, not when I have one of the ice blocks in hand. I prefer one of them at least to be 0, so... drawing into a Flutterwing Guardian is nice, and we have another Bitterbloom Knight for even more stacking of the Imbue triggers, so there's that. We already used our 2 Wildfires, so this is already dealing a decent amount of damage anyway. Don't know why you would emote their opponent. We're gonna find out soon enough how dead we are, if at all. So we play Bitter Bloom, then we play this. I'm not sure if I should Ice Block yet though, now that I'm thinking about it, but just as a safety precaution, we're gonna do so now. There we go. Because I don't think they would have anything that would remove my secrets anyway, if this is what I think it is. And what I'm thinking it is that it's a combo deck of some kind. Because that's literally the only way Druid can compete in the Wild ladder right now, is to be a combo deck. Well, as with most decks in the Wild format in general, you're either a combo deck or a super fast, low to the ground aggro deck. So there is that. I believe it's just safer to just hit their face a bit, or at least get rid of Renathal here. Ah, game read my mind. Cool. Now he won't be able to. Now he won't attack. Oh my god. Okay, Ferocious Howl. Opponent's just gaining armor, so there's that. Okay, Eridar Brute is scary, but I have enough power on board to kill him. I think this is fine. Wisp Rider. Ooh, okay. I think imbuing one more time is going to be helpful here. Simply because it's going to get this. There we go. That, and then I guess we get rid of that, then get rid of this. Yeah, sure, he's up to 40, but we're gonna do this. There we go. That will give us a bunch of wisps, and we also trigger it because why not? And that, so now if my opponent plays another minion next turn, we need to kill 2 of our wisps, and we have the combo all set and ready to go. Okay, Wild Art Guff. But if my opponent doesn't play any minions, we're going to have to do this the old-fashioned way. Like I said in the deck tech, if my opponent doesn't play any minions, we're just gonna do this, well, just like this. Just 1 damage at a time. Oh my god. Again, opponent has not done anything significant here. He has just been gaining mana, gaining armor, and gaining even more mana, and drawing cards, of course. I have no idea what they're on, but they are the magical number of 10 mana for a druid. So if they have a combo, now is as good a time as any to do it. But they know that I have a secret up, and they would know that there's only 1 secret worth a damn in the format right now. So we're gonna find out. Okay, Floop's Glorious Gloop. That is slightly scary. Coatlight Oracle. Okay, go on. Wait, are you gonna mill me out? That's slightly scary. Okay, killing my board. Sure. He restores his mana that way. Sure, gains armor. That is fine. Sure, opponent. I mean, I have 14 damage on board, and I don't think that's going to be enough for you to survive on. Okay, Eridar Brute again. Opponent, I don't know how to tell this to you, but you are... I'm not quite sure how dead you are, though. So we get rid of those 2. I actually have all of them here in my hand. Oh my god. Because my opponent doesn't exactly have a lot of creatures on board, we're gonna do... This is going to be attempt number 1. Let's see how far this goes. Alright? There we go. Let's see how far this goes. So there are only 3 enemies, because Reckless Apprentice counts all enemies, so there are 1, 2, 3 targets, and because of Sing-Along Buddy, this triggers twice. So this is... how much damage? 7 damage times 6. I'm not sure if my opponent is dead here, but if not, then at least we got rid of their blocker, and we have the 5 Treants here to finish him off, if it comes to that. But otherwise, I can also just trigger the Blessing of the Wisp again. Oh, okay, cool. They are dead. I was gonna finish you off, opponent, you know. Give me that at least, but no, you're gonna blue ball me like that. Fine, let's just move on to the next game.
AFK versus Malfurion.
Again, up against Druid. So there is that. Xavius, as much as I want you to be in my hand, now is not the time. We need to get our lower curve minions first. I said lower curve minions, not that one. Oh my, I guess I should be more specific next time. But we do have an ice block, so we're going to be at least slightly safe against what is potentially a combo deck. So there is that. Okay, I'm going first, and at least we have Wildfire like immediately. So that'll okay, cool. That sort of unbricks our hand. Because we have something to play on turn 2, and then if the game is so kind to give us divination as well, then I will be very, very happy. We'll put that up, and I actually just realized that the interaction is like this, where you raise it up, then every time it's on fire, he just puts it out. Then there we go. Yeah, no matter what its height, he just blows it out, which is cool. Okay, opponent is ramping, which is automatically scary. Oh, hey, we got divination. What do you know? I guess the game even listens to me sometimes. There you go. Alright, opponent only ramped so far, so we have no idea what they could be possibly on. Farwatch Post is scary. Oh boy. Okay, killing my 2 ways of potentially dealing with this thing, so, ooh, Holo Technician is nice, but, because my opponent, is so kind to, well, just do what he did, hopefully something, okay, no, nothing. Oh my god. So we will be playing off curve for a while until I get rid of this thing. And do note, more often than not, if you look at deck lists that have Far Watch Post, it is only a 1-out, so I got sacked. Okay, so those cost 4 mana. Good god, I am gonna play so off curve. Okay, yep, that's the one. What's next? Now this is 3. Huh. Cost 1 more. If their opponent draws a card. So, I mean, as much as I want to draw, I don't think we should. I believe this is one of those times where I actually play Reckless Apprentice as a removal spell. More than anything else, because we literally need to get rid of this. And it triggers twice, so hopefully we get somewhere, but no, we did not. Alright, cool. But at least we have 2 Wisps that could crash into the Far Watch Post, or at least we have the Reckless Apprentice, which, by the way, has a decently sized booty. I don't know why it's a 3-5, but here we are. Okay, Floop's Gloop. That is concerning. That means he has, well, not exactly a board wipe, but there is that. He's hoping to kill the Wisps. There we go, get 2 mana back. He was probably hoping for something more. That is not something more. Okay, yeah, going for face is definitely the right call there. That is fine. What's our next thing that's gonna get taxed? Okay, cool. Alright, finally time to get rid of this. Good god. Now we can safely draw cards here. ETC, and then Ancient Mysteries, 2 copies of Ancient Mysteries, 9 cards in hand. Oh boy. We can spend Ancient Mysteries, at least one of them next turn. Then the other, then ETC as well. But Dirty Rat. Okay, Sing Along Buddy is one of those cards that I do not mind losing, and you saved me a lot of mana on that one, so there's that. Okay, sure. Poison sees it away. That is fine by me. That is really fine by me. So we discover a secret, then ETC it up, just so that before he burns away. There we go. This is Druid. They could potentially have a lot of decent minions in their deck. Or we can get Plate Breaker just in case they have a lot of armor. But this deck chews through armor relatively easily anyway, so I think getting that will be fine. So we swing in for these 2. Then, do I play Ice Block now? I don't think so. So we're just gonna leave it at that. Then, fortunately, this Ancient Mysteries is already a dead card, so it's going to be fine to put it away. Rising Wave, sure. You watch the board, that is fine by me. Again, I still have no idea what my opponent is on. All I've seen are just some cards that I generally see in a lot of Druid lists, so we're gonna... Ugh, I do not like that at all. We need card draw, unfortunately, so we'll just Wildfire. I think we should just pass, unfortunately. So, just to get a little bit of damage in, we're just gonna deal 3 here, and pass back to my opponent. Okay, now that we have slightly more hand space, it's going to be safe to deal even more damage to my opponent here. Though I think we're gonna use Blessing of the Wisp first, so that we have another Wisp here. Oh, okay. You don't have Floop's Gloop anymore, opponent, so you can't exactly... Oh, right. Wait, where did you have the other one? That's fascinating. You do realize that now I'm gonna have to kill this thing, right? So we got Holo Technician. Then we kill him. Opponent. I believe... Okay, this is where he got the Floop's Gloop. Sure. That is fine. We do need... whenever hero takes fatal damage, prevented to become immune. I think we're gonna need that here. Then we'll draw 3 cards, see what shakes loose. Well, a couple of imbue cards that I would have loved to have a couple of turns ago, but I guess better late than never. Okay. Holo Technician is out there stranded, but I think he'll be fine to die at this point because I don't think my opponent plays a lot of minions. So there's that. And now let's see the door. And paralyzed. Okay, the other Grove Shaper, so that's going to be an auto kill. Okay, yep, created by Train of Life, sure. Then, okay, he's going to try to naturalize me down. I just hope that I draw into the other sing-along buddy and the rest of my deck can burn away for all I care. Alright, let's see if the anime... Oh god, I have only 8 cards left in dead. Oh shit. Oh, did my opponent run out of time? Oh, well, I guess I win, opponent. 9 mana, so this is 6. I believe I can play 1 imbue creature. So it's going to be the Spirit Gatherer here. There we go. Then we play Sing-Along Buddy. And I machine gun my opponent down.
Wait, not all of them.
There we go. Not all of them indeed. But if it says job's done, then that means my opponent isn't exactly dead. Oh dear god. Although, I do have the ice block up, so... and my opponent only has 1 card in hand, so I have no idea how far my opponent is gonna get here. So we're gonna find out soon enough. But I tried my best, and I can still just machine gun my opponent down next turn. So there's that. They do have Floop's Gloop, and they have a Naturalize, but oh, what more can they do? They don't have another Grove Shaper, so who's to say? Okay, yep, 1 Hard Guff, that is fine. Gaining 5 armor, but I don't think that's gonna help out too much unless he has a plan B, which is like, I guess kill Jaden. Because I'm just realizing they're playing Mildruid that has not only Floop's Gloop but also Grove Shaper. So there's that. Sure, make me draw cards. I don't really care at this point. You're literally dead to rights, opponent. I just need to imbue my I just need to imbue my stuff a couple more times, and you're dead. So there we go. There. And yeah, about what I expected. Oh my god, I love playing Mildruid, but unfortunately, the moment it faces off against anything meta, it just folds like immediately, and it's sad. But it does have a role in the meta somewhat, even though it's like in the dregs of it. I still love playing the deck, however. So there is that. Let's move on to the next game.
AFK versus AFK.
Up against a mirror match. Oh boy. There's literally only 1 deck for Mage right now, and it's Imbue Mage. I wonder what the name Please Trade is referring to, but as much as I want to mulligan away Ice Block, we're gonna need it, especially for this matchup in particular. Because it's a matter of who gets to establish their ice blocks first. And yes, I'm saying that in plural. So, oh dear god, we're gonna be ended up with one of those brick hands. And I just might die because I draw into the wrong order of cards. This is not what I thought it was. So this is one of those decks that pops up every once in a while. And it somehow always seems to kick my ass because they control the board pretty goddamn well. So there's that. Okay, it seems the both of us are bricking pretty hard. Still not drawing into significant shit. Well, I guess we'll be tossing bolts of fire at each other. Don't know why it's called Fire Blast. This is Fire Bolt because it only deals 1 damage. In Magic the Gathering term, it's just a ping. So, I mean, we're literally just waiting for 4 mana. Okay, there we go. We'll draw 3 cards next turn because, good God. It's not working out for us here, Chief. Okay, sure, freeze an enemy. I don't think that matters. It still blocks. I find it weird that taunt still taunts, even though the minion is frozen. Because I think when the minion is frozen, it should not be able to do anything at all, for 1 turn. It's like a stun counter in Magic the Gathering, if you can believe that. But I guess there are some differences. But it's the closest thing that Magic has. So let's see what my opponent does here. Next fire spell this turn costs 2 less. Okay. Okay, my opponent just passed back in spite of everything. I guess we draw even more cards here. So we got a Wisp for free. There we go. That'll allow us to use a divination. There you go. We draw 3 cards. Ooh, Xavius would be nice. But we have... Okay, we have Wildfire. There we go. I think Xavius, or rather, Bitter Bloom Knight into Xavius would be good. We already have the combo in hand, but we haven't leveled up the Blessing into lethal numbers yet, so... Excuse me. Oh my god. And of course, my opponent isn't exactly playing a lot of minions, so...
I'm ready to be just like you.
Okay, opponent
I'm
might
ready to be
be
just
a
like
combo
you.
deck. Okay, sure, they draw 2 cards, and they could potentially use Time Warp to take an extra turn very relatively shortly. Oh dear god. Okay, I may just be dead here. Oh god. So conjure mana biscuit, refreshes 2 mana crystals, and all this stuff costs 0 because all of his card, the 3 apprentices that he has, yeah, Sorcerer's Apprentice and 2 Magister's Apprentice, they all reduce the cost of certain spells by 1. But Sorcerer's Apprentice doesn't reduce it below 1, but Magister's Apprentice doesn't get that. So there is that. So they might get their Open the Way Gate soon. I could just... yeah, I am very dead here. Holy shit. Did not expect this. But it's refreshing at least to see something like this pop off, rather than the usual typical aggro bullshit. So there's that. Ow! Moonfire to the face. Okay, Arcane Explosion. But sadly, my opponent will run out of time. If at all. Because they're still going, and they may cast their extra turn right here. Potentially. Because if they do, then they will indeed take their extra turn. But if not, then they sadly ran out of time. Ooh, they summoned a 412. That's not good. Those are not gonna do too much. But okay, sure. Opponent takes an extra turn. Let's see how dead we... I mean, we are very dead, so... But I just want to see this pop off. Sure. Yeah, the attack into that. Excess damage. Go over to me. And there we go. Yeah, I believe my opponent got me here. Alright, cool. Didn't expect that. Kudos to my opponent. Let's move on to the next game.
AFK versus Anduin.
Up against Priest, and there's only one type of Priest deck that is viable right now. And we opened with Ice Block again, so that will be a necessity for what's about to come. We may actually just hardcast this on turn 2 rather than play Bitter Bloom Knight. Oh my god. I mean, we got a lot of imbue cards, but we need more defenses and weapons to shut down whatever it is my Shadow Priest. It's not Shadow Priest, okay? That is a Breath of Fresh Air, but it could also be some other form of bullshit that Priest is capable of doing. So, there's that. Oh, okay. This is the one that has... Oh, wait, no, is this Boar? This is Elwyn Boar. Oh my god. So we just passed back, and I haven't done this in a while, so let's see if this is a human being. If they don't respond, they might have already squelched me, so there's that. Okay, cool. I think now would be a good time as any to put Ice Block down. More than any other turn, so there we go. My opponent is going to read very quickly that this is the only secret that I have in the deck. I have another copy, of course, but yeah, this is the only one I run because it's the only one that matters right now. And yeah, Amulet of Undying is already an indication that this is indeed the Elwyn Boar deck, where it would stack a lot of the Elwyn Boar and hopefully hit you for an insane amount of damage, and destroy your mana crystals in the process. So there's that. Creation Protocol, sure. I'm assuming you're only gonna get Elwyn Boar, so let's see. Okay, sure. Yep, alright. It is indeed Elwyn Boar, so there's that. Okay, sure. I guess we don't attack you. We're gonna have to attack my opponent. So we're gonna keep imbuing. As much as I don't want to put Fluttering Guardian, it is one of my only imbue cards, so we need to do that. We'll probably play the other one again, or rather, we'll play the other one next turn, unfortunately. Then we'll go into Nightmare Lord. Oh, excuse me, I burped. We're going to Xavius in the next turn. But we could just potentially be dead here. They got to their stuff really quickly. Holy shit. So we just swing into our opponent here. But oh wait, no. I think getting to no, we'll draw a secret first. So we have even more ice blocks for next turn. I think having the blocker, at least one blocker here. So 1, 2, 3. Oh wait, no, we won't have a blocker. Shit. I knew I shouldn't have done that. Oh wait, no, we can still do this. It will give them the sword a lot sooner, but at least they won't charge through this just easily. So there's that. We'll play Fluttering Guardian next turn. I think I panicked a little there and cast the Ancient Mysteries, even though knowing for a fact that I have an Ice Block already. So they'll likely play the minion that they got from the quest to heal, but we're gonna find out. Okay, sure. They swing into that. That's fine. We're gonna have to kill my opponent before they kill me, but I don't think we'll get there in time, unfortunately. So, okay, there we go. Ooh, Holo Technician is fine and all, but unfortunately, we don't have any other minions. So, we just swing in, and, well, opponent, kill me. There we go. I'm even gonna give you your sword. But, you're gonna have to get past my, you're gonna have to get past my taunt minions first. So there's that. I have actually been thinking of ETCing in the stuff that destroys weapons, because this is a decent enough problem for me that every time I face off against it, I always lose. So there's that. Oh, it even gets by. It's an on attack. Oh, that's fascinating actually. Seabreeze Chalice isn't gonna do too much, so there's that. We at least have an ice block, so we're sort of protected until then. Then yeah, they attack again, then they attack again. So yeah, it's just 2 swings, but at least we have ice block to protect us from lethal damage. Yeah, Elwyn Boar, that is fine. Thrive in the Shadows, that is fine. We may have just died here, unfortunately. Oh boy. I really should, I mean, you can't exactly prepare for shit like this, because Elwyn Board, the Sword of Thousand Truths deck, is similar to Mill Druid. It's just in the dregs. You're not expecting this in the higher echelons of meta, unfortunately, so... but hey, if it kicks your ass every once in a while, then at least it's not the typical aggro bullshit that you say, so... We definitely lost this one because I will never be able to generate mana ever again. And even though I have an ice block, it's just delaying them inevitable. So, let's move on to the next game.
AFK versus Uther.
Up against Paladin, and there are only 2 Paladin decks right now, and it's not just Libram Paladin now. There's another deck that surfaced just before Emerald Dream came out, and it's called Call to Arms Paladin, where the entire deck is built around a singular spell called Call to Arms, and it just summons out a bunch of cheap minions that have detrimental effects for your opponent. That's literally all it does. But I personally think it's a waste, especially on the ones that have battle cries. But I guess they're just setting it up for the eventual Crusader auto turn anyway. And the minion that really matters in that deck anyway is the one that taxes your battle cries by 2. And that more than anything else, that's the one that they wanna fish out anyway. And because they play the secret, that's already the vibe that I'm getting off of my opponent here. So there's that. And I got deranked thanks to that last match. So yeah, there's that. I was actually on a really good hot streak just before I recorded today. So I won 5 games in a row, and now you're seeing the rest. Oh my god. I mean, it's very obvious that this is all my Yogg, so we're gonna play this out. It's not Oh My Yog. Ooh, that's fascinating. It's not what I thought it was. So I guess we ice block now while they don't have Oh My Yog. Because the moment they have Oh My Yog, we're not going to be able to do any of our spells. So there is that. Okay, opponent's playing Renathal. That is interesting. Does that mean they don't have anything else in hand? I guess. So we do that, wait for a bit, then we bash in at our opponent's face. There we go. Now we're gonna treat Holotechnician more. Oh, it's Exodia Uther. Sure. I guess we're dead. Unless we somehow draw into something. But otherwise, I'm pretty sure we're dead here because Ice Block doesn't protect against you lose the game effects. So there is that. So we get 2 Wisps here. We're just gonna make it aesthetically pleasing. We're gonna put it here, put that there. Then, okay, sure. We got that. That happened, I guess. I guess we play Holotechnician as well, and we do that. Then we kill my opponent's minions, and we're gonna see if my opponent kills me here. If not, then well, we both have 10 mana to work with. So there's that. Okay, send all minions into the future. That's fine. That just means that we can't play any minions at all because my board was full. Okay, draw your highest cost card, sure. I'm fine taking a few points of damage here. Okay, sure. Burn down is nice. Let's see what we draw. Another sing-along buddy, another burn down, and a Sea Breeze, a Chalice. I don't think I should play anything because I know for a fact that I have minions coming back next turn. So let's see. Anachronos will attack, opponent will attack, so that's 12, but again, I have Ice Block. So let's see. Mysterious Challenger. Ooh, that is fascinating. Okay, they only have 2 other secrets in the deck, so that is fine. Then we have Anachronos. Sure, that's another secret down. Sure, now it's my turn. I guess we try to bait it out, because this guy's gonna burn away anyway, so might as well try. We have another Reckless Apprentice anyway. I believe I don't mind losing the minions that were already there, so we're gonna see what happens. Yeah, this is definitely fine. Reckless Apprentice. It's not going to be enough to kill yet, but it'll hopefully be enough to put the hurting on my opponent. So there's that. Okay, cool. Go. Alright. I believe it's going to at least kill one of them. Okay, it killed Anachronos at least. But we'll kill all of my other minions that are going to come back relatively soon. So, there's that. There we go. And all of my other minions are sadly not going to come back. Alright, cool. Again, I have Ice Block up. Okay. That's fine. Again, I have Ice Block up. Reno, surprisingly, is not a problem to me here. As much as he takes over games, I don't think he's a problem. So now, we draw even more cards, I guess. Unless one of these is Oh My Yog, which is always a possibility. So I guess we lead with one of the Chalices. Okay, cool. Alright, we finally got one of the Oh My Yogs. So there's that. Let's see what it transforms into. Call of the Void adds a random demon to our hand. After this is attacked. Why? So we draw 3 more cards. Let's see what we get. Nothing. Ooh, that is fascinating. Do we get another Ice Block? I guess we do. We get another Ice Block. There we go. Then we induce some more. There we go. This will, I think, be lethal next turn if I draw another Reckless Apprentice. But of course, if my opponent doesn't play any more minions, then they're gonna keep living until, until the end of time. Okay, yeah, there it is. Alright. I'm going to get Exodiad here. If they have Call to Arms, they're going to call the, oh, I guess they're not doing it yet. Okay, probably, highly likely next turn. Although I mean, again, Ice Block doesn't protect against that, unfortunately. So, imbue hero power, then trigger it. Yeah, sure, we'll just do that. Then we get our wisps down. There we go. Then we destroy one of the wisps. Then we'll see what we draw. 1, 2, and 3. That is not what I needed, unfortunately. Try again. Do we have... Okay, we drew into the other Reckless Apprentice, but unfortunately, we are going to die to Uther here, summoning the 4 Horsemen. And we're gonna see. Okay, still not going there. Okay, then. Call to arms, get the 3 minions out. No? Still no? Really? Opponent! I literally only have Ice Block. There, see? Oh my god.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Let's agree with well played. There we go. They deserve it. This is one of those decks that I honestly don't mind losing to, because you can see it from a mile away, and their control tools are really damn good. Again, Ice Block doesn't protect against, you lose the game. So, let's move on to the next game.
AFK versus Sarah.
Against Mage, and well, it's probably also a mirror match. Full mulligan away this hand. Well, nearly full mulligan. We have Spirit Gatherer, and I'm gonna sneeze. Oh, I'm back. Well, we drew into decent cards, surprisingly. Burn down, potentially, in the upcoming turns. Ooh, okay. We definitely have something for turn 2. So we get Spirit Gatherer down, then we play the Wisp. There we go. I probably shouldn't have done that now that I think about it, because they'll just use their hero power to kill the Wisp, and I won't draw with Divination. So there's oh, okay, they're not gonna do that. Okay, sure. So they did. So we attack for 3 first, and then we destroy the Wisp to draw 3 cards. There we go. Okay. Draw another Spirit Gatherer into another Divination. Oh boy. I would prefer even more imbue cards, but I guess that'll have to do. Fluttering Guardian for next turn. So we're gonna do this first. That Wildfire. Then we play another Wisp. There we go. Times like this where I wish I had the Wild God that helps with this, where if 20 armor minions die this game, you deal 20 damage. But I personally don't like it. Having a curve this low, basically capping out at 5, is more than enough. And they are on the more secret-heavy variant, so I'm assuming this is either Counterspell or Objection. Those 2 spells are only one-ofs more often than not. So, to test if this is Objection, we're gonna use Xavius as bait. There we go. Let's see if that triggers it. No, it does not. Alright, cool. Having ETC's Battlecry trigger twice is way too good to pass up. Unfortunately. But unfortunately as well, we do not need it. Oh my god. Place this on top of your deck. So that'll be our draw next turn. Oh my god. Would I really want this? I don't think we do, unfortunately. Wait, no, we do, because it allows us to get Tight Lip Witness. So yeah, we'll get ETC. Oh my god. Oh my god. So it's not Objection. So this is either Counterspell or something else entirely. So oh my god. Oh, my nose. There we go. Brand Bronzebeard, alright. Some builds have Brand Bronzebeard as a way to double dip into the imbue cards, but personally, you don't really need them. As you've seen all throughout this video, you don't necessarily need Brand, but it's definitely a way to speed up the process. He has a Dark Gift, so yeah, we're gonna get him. Because it's already been proven that this isn't Objection, so I guess we get both of these 2, and yeah, since the Elwyn Boar thing, I changed the Plate Breaker into Rossaut Viper, because I don't want to lose against that deck anymore. So we get these 2, and then I guess, well, the one that I care about less is the Chalice. So let's see if this is Counterspell. It's not Counterspell, then it's Ice Block. Really? Okay, so now we know it's Ice Block. I guess we can't kill our opponent yet. Oh, excuse me. Although I do have a lot of cards in hand, so there's that. And we don't have an ice block set up, so we are going to be in for a spot of hurt here. So there's that. Okay, sure. It triggers twice, thanks to Bran Bronzebeard. Good God. We could be dead very, very soon here, but we do have Flutterwing Guardian, so as a temporary measure. Or we can silence Bran first, now that I think about it. And he has way too many targets on board, unfortunately. So we do this. We imbue. I guess we try to hit Bran, but I don't think that's a really good idea. Excuse me. I guess we try to hit Bran and just exchange resources on board. I mean, if I die, I die, so that's just how it is. So we do that, and okay. Of course, yeah, there are way too many creatures on board. But it at least reduces him to 1, but any other minion here will definitely kill me in short order. Good God. I said in the deck tech that 5 is the minimum that you need in order to kill your opponent, but having it at 9, good God. The only possible thanks to Bran. Or if you get a decent draws, there's also that. But yeah, we'll be dead soon if we don't get what we need. Oh, Holotechnician is something, fortunately. So I only have 7 mana, so we're gonna do that. I guess we still try, unfortunately. There we go. Then we'll drop more cards when it comes to that. There we go. Okay, well, we finally got rid of Bran, but too little too late, unfortunately. We're dead. So let's move on to the end screen. Okay, we're here in the end screen, and in spite of my performance in the video, this deck is really, really damn good. There are a couple of things in this deck that you can switch in and out, depending on how the meta shakes out. But we, at least at the time of me recording this video, we are only 2 weeks removed from the release of Into the ML Dream. A lot can still change within that time frame, and people will still find ways to make decks like this better. People will find ways to iterate on Call to Arms in Paladin, and hell, even the Armor Warrior is going to iterate itself to survive against the aggro matchup. So yeah, those are the things that I will say for this deck. It's still really damn good. You can swap some stuff in and out here. You can be more defensive by removing the Holotechnician entirely. Just survive in the mirror, but that's going to make you vulnerable to other matchups. You will definitely lose to certain matchups. That's something that cannot be avoided entirely, and sometimes you just end up with having bad draws, because that's just how variance works, unfortunately. But this is a really damn good deck. I highly recommend you craft it. Of course, you can always replace Nightmare Lord Xavius with something else. Especially if it's a legendary that you can get for free, just by opening a pack like ETC here. Just open Festival of Legends and you will get an ETC, and everything else is relatively cheap. This is a nearly legendless deck, and the one trend that I'm seeing happening in Wild as of late is a lot of decks are slowly but surely eschewing legendaries, because a lot of the cards are just really good all on their own. Which is fascinating. Hell, even the Secret Mage, which is a deck that kicks my ass every once in a while, they even have incorporated the imbue package in the deck, and it works. It fucking works. So keep an eye out for this one. It's going to be a major player moving forward. And if you like what you saw, hit like, comment, subscribe, and share this among your friends. And until next time, toodles.